All right, we are live. Okay, hello everyone. We're live. Hello everyone online. Welcome to KPC, and we're glad that you're here. So this morning we're going to do 3 different kinds of meditation together. But before we begin, like every week, we always start with our intention, our proper motivation for doing this today. So we really want to focus in on our bodhicitta intention, which is that compassionate wish to free all beings from suffering, so that whatever we learn today or the virtue we generate by doing this practice together, that we dedicate it to all beings. So let's take a moment to do that in our minds now. All right. So we'll begin like we do each week with the 7-line prayer. We'll do it 3 times in Tibetan. Chant that in Tibetan. I'll put it up on the screen. Organ yugi nu chamsam pemage sa dombola yasan shogi no drumne pemajung ne shesudra koryu kandrom mambokor keki jesu dag druki chinjilop shir sheksu so Guru Pema Siddhi Hum Organ Yugi Nucham Sam Pema Ge Sardombola Yasin Shogi No Drumne Pema Jungne Shesudra Koru Kandrom Mambokor Keki Jesu Dag Drupki Chinjilop Shir Sheksu So Guru Pema Siddhi Hum Organ Yugi Nucham Sam Pema Ge Sardombola Yasin Shogi Nundrumne Pema Jungne Shesudra Koru Kandrom Mampokor Keki Jesu Dag Druki Jinjilok Shir Sheksu So Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. All right. So again, we will be doing 3 different types of meditation today. One to really stabilize and calm our mind, and the others to open our heart. So as we go over every week, the whole purpose of meditation is to create more spaciousness in our mind. And meditation is the state of mind when it's relaxed and stable and open, and yet also alert and wakeful. So the real trouble is our mind is rarely ever calm and settled. And so if we're new to meditation, we might be like, oh, meditation, do I really need to do that? Do I need to sit still? Do I need to watch my mind? But it's often the first time when we're doing meditation, we realize, and we begin to recognize how busy our minds are, how distracted, how inflamed and reactive they can be. And meditation really helps us settle the mind in a way that we can become less reactive, that we can handle all the situations in our life with a more spacious and calm response. We can balance our emotions, our anxiety, our general dread about the state of the world. Meditation is very good for that. In a world where it's very hard to find your center, find that calm space, meditation is just waiting for you as this well of spaciousness, this opportunity for you to be settled within the mind, have that pause, have that rest in the mind. It's so hard to come by these days. And even with meditation, even finding a few minutes to do meditation is hard. So anytime you can find meditation, even when you're in line, even when you're, waiting in a doctor's office, any moment that you can just have some awareness, have a pause, is so beneficial. So again, just like any other muscle in our body, we can practice this again and again. It becomes easier, and we really begin to see the long-term benefits of meditation when we show up consistently and do this more than just once, more than just trying it and be like, oh, I'm not good at this, and just give up. So the whole point is not to judge ourselves or compare our meditation to someone else's meditation or a previous meditation that we did. Oh, I was so calm that day and now my mind is racing. That's not the point. To judge yourself whether you're good or bad. The point is to create more spaciousness in the mind, and we do this by consistently showing up to do meditation. So with that, let's just check our posture and all of our attention. So instead of our attention being on all of our racing thoughts and having our mind jump from one thing to the next, we are focusing our attention on our breath. We always have our breath with us, so you can always do this. You can do this whenever your mind remembers to take a moment of meditation. So we're focusing on our breath, and whenever those thoughts arise, we just focus, we bring our attention back to the breath. So with our posture, we're having our straight spine, our spine is lifted, our shoulders back, elbows back, and the traditional posture is our right hand over our left with our thumbs touching and in our lap. And we're breathing naturally, and our eyes are remaining open. So we're here and now in this room. We're not closing our eyes. We're just being with all that is around us. So our eyes are open, and our mouth is a little bit open as well. So there is a breath also going through your mouth. So we just do this by just like gently parting the lips, and we can touch the tip of our tongue to the roof of our mouth or the back of our teeth, like we're saying the letter L. We're just breathing naturally. It might take a few deep breaths to get to that natural pace of breath. And again, when any thought arises, we can just let it go. We don't have to make a big stink about it or judge ourselves. Oh, another thought. That just creates more thoughts. So we just say, okay, going back to the breath. Gently redirect yourself back to your breath again and again and again. If you find that you're feeling very like your mind's racing today or very busy, you can actually imagine cutting the thought or tossing the thought out and returning to the breath. And our attention on the breath is a very light attention. So we're not like becoming fixed on that either. We're not saying, oh, inhale, exhale. Just a very light attention, like we're noticing the breath, like we're taking our pulse. We're not trying to control it. We're just noticing it. And your attention is like a gossamer thin attention. Your attention's like a feather gently riding the surface of your breath. So we're going to try this for a few minutes to warm up, and then we'll increase our time. So let's try this. Okay. Starting now, I have my timer here. All right, now we're going to increase our time. Just try that again. Again, focusing on the breath and bringing our attention back again and again when our mind when our mind wanders. Okay, so starting now. can take this meditation wherever we go. We can even start with just 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, just slowly increasing our endurance with meditation. Instead of just jumping right into 45 minutes, we just slowly build our and increase our time as we can do that. So now we will move on to really developing our heart through a meditation called Tonglen, or giving and receiving. And this is done to develop our compassion and our ability to be present for our own suffering and the suffering of others. So we're really using the energy of loving kindness to open our hearts and to transform suffering into well-being. So in this practice, we're imagining we're taking on the suffering of others into ourselves and sending them all of our happiness. So this is a mental exercise. We're not actually taking all their suffering on, but it really helps us to gradually cease to cherish ourselves over others. So it helps us to develop a stronger wish to benefit beings, and helps us to see all beings, it helps us to see all beings as equal. So it's developing our equanimity and really expanding our scope of compassion for all beings. So we'll stay in our meditation position, and we'll just imagine one or two people. We can switch between the two, or start with a little bit with one person and switch to another. And this is someone for whom you easily feel love and affection towards. This could be a parent, a child, a sibling, or even a pet. And this is someone that, if you imagine them suffering, it would be just so much love would well up in your heart. You wouldn't want this person to suffer. It would just be, so sad to think of that. So you're imagining, being in their shoes. You're actually letting that, imagining what their suffering must be like. You're using that energy to increase your compassion. So you're cultivating in your heart a fervent wish to relieve their suffering and to secure their happiness. So you just want them to be happy. So we're doing this by bringing attention to our breath. So on the inhale, as we breathe in, we're visualizing that we're taking all of their suffering, all the causes and conditions for their suffering or sadness, or whatever they're going through. We're taking that in as in the form of a dark smoke. So we're inhaling that in, and we're imagining that when we do that, they're completely free from that suffering, from that misery. And then as we exhale, we're breathing out all of our positive, loving qualities, um, and all of these, inconceivable causes of enduring happiness and all this joy. And we're imagining that they really receive that and experience that. So you might think, as you breathe in, may you be free from suffering. And as you breathe out, may you be happy. So we're going to try this. This giving and receiving, this Tonglen breath, for a few minutes, and we'll see how we do. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to do this for one or two beings who we feel aversion or anger towards, annoyance. And this is when it gets more difficult because, when we think of having compassion for all beings, maybe there's a few people that are not included in that we don't think deserve our love and don't deserve our compassion, or really anything. We don't want to give them any of that. Maybe this person has hurt us. Maybe this person is hurting other people. And we can still in that moment even recognize that all beings are trying to be happy. Even the most confused, who don't know how to create the causes of their own happiness, and maybe they're hurting people on their way to trying to find their own happiness, and they're very confused about how to do that. So even when we think, oh, the worst of the worst, I could not pray for this person, I could not love this person. If we were really to take all of their suffering away, and we were to imagine them filled with joy and happiness without any suffering, wouldn't that be so wonderful to if all beings could really be relieved from this suffering? Wouldn't we want to do that for every single being? Um, there's just so much. We never know why people are the way that they are, the way they were raised, or the way, all these different things that might have happened that formed the person they are now. So this is we're trying to, even when it's so hard, try to try to chip away at our heart, the walls around our heart, and include even those we do not want to include. And this practice is all about increasing our scope of compassion, and in a time that is, so such a warring time that we live in. So many people are pitted against each other. This practice is such deep and profound medicine for this time. So you can do this whenever, we don't have to be sitting like this. We can do this for anyone, anytime. So with that, let's do a couple minutes doing this. All right, and then we'll do one more minute and just increase that scope of people that you feel maybe frustration or aversion towards. So maybe it's more than now one or two people. We expand that out to a larger group of people. So let's try that. All right. So again, we can just use that to increase our compassion towards all beings, slowly, slowly expanding our love and compassion to all beings, no matter what. So we have a deep well of equanimity and love in our heart. So with that, we'll end with a light expansion prayer written by Jetsunma Akon Lamo. And so you can just listen along with this. It's a guided meditation. Let us become still. Take a deep breath and let it out slowly. Again, let us center deep within. Center deep within. Deep within to the presence of the Absolute. And there is radiance. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the physical body. And all of the physical body is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill our beings on all dimensions. And all that we are is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill everyone here. And everyone here on all dimensions is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this building. And all of this building is filled with the light of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this nation. And all the government of this nation is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. And the people of this nation are one life. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace planet Earth. All nations and all governments are filled with the presence of the Absolute, and there is peace. And the 8 billion are one life, radiant. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill this galaxy. All planets, all stars, and all life forms are within the embrace of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the universe. All dimensions and all kingdoms are filled with the presence of the absolute. And in all the universe, there's only one life. Now, as we return our consciousness back to physical form, we continue to embrace all that is, and to know union, that we are one. And with that, we'll do our dedication prayers. Looks like my battery is running out here, so we'll quickly do the dedication prayers before. Here we go. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I've accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice, and all that I'll ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and